please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down the ride, you weren't down the ride. Course switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, course slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah.
Tell the
In the
truth.
scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying beside. Breaking up
Information is power.
You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I, my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole.
Information is power.
Now I get paid, vacay, I'm staying beside. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. So in love with you. You got me down again.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
the truth.
Peace, everybody. What's up, everybody? Getting the sounds together here. Thank you for coming on board for this program today. I want to analyze a few things, but mostly I want to get your opinions about what's going on with Jonathan Majors. As you already know, that he's been highly scrutinized in the media right now. Looks like his PR firm dropped him. That was the first latest news that we found out in this situation. Jonathan Majors, Talented Majors Entertainment 360 have dropped Jonathan Majors. Several sources tell us that the recent move by Majors' longtime manager, this is a bad sign, folks, from what I'm hearing. Most people in Hollywood, or Holly Weird as we call it, Holly Weird as we call it, are saying that whenever your publicist that you've had for a long time decides to say, you know what, I can no longer represent you because everything that's happening around you is a bad sign. And so the recent move by Majors' long-term manager came 3 weeks after the magazine Dream Star Wars arrest on domestic violence charges in New York City. So we already know about that he was arrested on domestic charges. This is just like in my other video, I talked about that, but let's just kind of summarize a little bit. The attorneys for the embattled actor Jonathan Majors claimed that this week that new surveillance video, okay, that exonerates their client in his ongoing domestic violence case against this woman right here. This is why when you're a young actor, especially if you're black, you really got to think about the kind of women that you bring into your life. And that goes for women as well. You got to think about the type of man you bring in your life, what kind of energy they have, because if they were having a domestic issue and there was rumor that he was trying to break up with her as well, these domestic issues can be explosive. It does not give an excuse for any man to put his hands on a woman. Here she is. This is the woman that he has been involved with. And there's something fishy going on here, as we talked about in the first video that I did about what's really going on. Now, Jonathan Majors his star has really soared very high. And a lot of people have been very excited about the success that he's had.
The truth.
He played Kang in the Ant-Man thriller of the MCU of Marvel. He was in the movie that I really liked him in was Last Black Man in San Francisco, because I could really relate to that because I lived in San Francisco for many years, high school, college, and what have you. And then he was on Netflix movie. The man has been hitting on all cylinders. Of course, his latest was Creed. And I think the thing about Creed, this is what I want to say to you all out there listening, and I appreciate you being here. I really do. I don't know how many of you have thought about this, but put a 7 in the chat room if you had this same thought in your mind. I think the Creed image that he had in Creed as being this bad, angry black man,
Tell the truth.
could have possibly worked against him psychologically in the minds of people, because he just came out of a movie where he was playing a very evil role, where he was beating up on Michael B. Jordan, excuse me. And he played a role that most people stereotype black men as being, which is the angry, out of control, demonstrative black male. Which, by the way, is the role that they definitely want to see black men in Hollywood. I just think that there's an ironicness to that he's gotten himself in this situation where now he's being demonized as a woman beater or an abuser of a girlfriend. And now you have people wanting to jump out of the bandwagon and say, hey, he did this. Now, if he did these things, he's as wrong.
Tell the truth.
He's as wrong as two left shoes. He's as wrong.
Tell the truth.
He definitely will be wrong as two left shoes. He's wrong. But there's something that does not add up, folks, about this whole situation. What I want to do, and bear with me, is I want to put this back up here again.
Tell the truth.
And I want to show you what I'm talking about. So, the embattled actor Jonathan Major claimed that this week that new surveillance video will exonerate him or their client in his ongoing domestic violence case. The video filed as evidence on Wednesday in New York appeals court to show the Creed star accused of injuring and out on the town after the alleged assault to the girlfriend. This is why is this important? Because as you see her here, and remember she wrote, or we got a glimpse at this right here, which I thought was kind of weird when she talked about, please let me know you're okay when you get this. This is the kind of nonsense that's going on. Now she is apologetic about what happened. It doesn't excuse his abusive behavior if that's exactly what happened, but he's saying, no, I didn't do anything. I didn't choke her. She says here, remember, I read this in the other video. Please let me know if you're okay when you get this. They're accusing me that you won't, they're assuring me that you won't be charged, but he was charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on what injuries? Because when I show you of some video still pics, which have been going all around, TMZ dropped these pics on us to let us know what was going on. Then she says here, I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. Just call me when you're out. I love you. They just called again to check on me, and I reiterated how this was not an attack and they did not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about the strangulation, and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. Now, this is what I want to ask you. I want to ask everybody in the chat room.
Tell the truth.
And we're going to use logic today. And I thank you all that are here. I will be calling people's names out in the chat room as soon as I get an opportunity. But let's use some logic here, because a lot of times on YouTube, there's not a lot of logic. There's entertainment, but not enough logic. If she truly felt this way as she does in her, if these text messages are legitimate, that was presented by Jonathan Major's lawyers.
Tell the
I just
truth.
wonder, why haven't she come out and given a press conference? Doesn't mean she has to give any details, but his so-called girlfriend, who looks like he was trying to break up with, if she's so concerned about Jonathan Majors that he didn't do it, if those text messages are correct, if they are correct, she told him in that text message, and I'm quoting it, there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. Okay, if you're doing all you can on your end, where is the press conference to say to the world, yes, we got into a disagreement, but no, he didn't strangulate me. No, he did not do these things to me. That's all she would have to say in a public press conference. Not even a press conference, just an interview. And that's all she got to say. No, this is not what happened. Now, of course, we know that there's a thing called Stockholm Syndrome, where people that are abused will identify with their abuser in some cases. But Jonathan Major says, no, I didn't do any of this. I'm not an abuser of this woman. But I'm just wondering if in that letter, as she spoke in that text message, not letter, but text message, if indeed she was very contrite, very upset about what happened, that he had been wronged, then why hasn't she given a statement to the press? Maybe her lawyers are telling her not to. I don't know. Did she have a lawyer? Matter of fact, he's trying to get away from her, right? He doesn't want anything to do with her, right? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But why hasn't she given any type of press conference or statement of any kind? Now, of course, you can make the argument that Jonathan Majors, why hasn't he not given any public statements? And of course, they're saying that the lawyers are telling him, and you're going to hear this. I got the TMZ audio that I'm going to play today, not their video, because TMZ will heavily copyright you real bad. So I've got the audio for you. I'll be playing that very explosive audio and the still pictures. If she feels the way she feels about Majors, then I'm wondering, why hasn't she come out and said anything? If those text messages are correct. Now, if they're not, then that would explain maybe why she hasn't come out, or maybe she hasn't come out and said anything because she does not want to implicate herself and make herself look bad under public scrutiny. It's just a thought. Jonathan Majors played a demonstrative boxer in Creed, and right now he's in the fight of his life for his reputation, for his acting career, which I think is over, ladies and gentlemen. I think that it doesn't, I think if they came out, and you can put a 7 in the chat room if you agree with me or not. If it came out tomorrow that Jonathan Major didn't do any of these things the way it was portrayed in the media, do you think his acting career would recover itself? He's a black man, so therefore I don't think it would recover. It would still be in the dumps. I can give you perfect example. Remember Isaiah Washington? And Isaiah Washington was on the Gross Anatomy show, and he got into it with a verbal fisticuffs with one of his co-actors who happened to be a member of the LGBTQ. And he said one of those words that are seen as not being in agreement with their lifestyle. And when he got into that, guess what happened to Isaiah Washington? A couple of months ago, he said he's going to retire from acting, that he can't get any jobs in Hollywood. He's got to do his own independent productions. Well, Isaiah Washington was another black actor that was hot, on his way to the top, and his career kind of sunk down in Hollywood. Anything that happens to black actors, you're finished. Now, remember I told you on the first video about Dana White, who runs the UFC, owns it damn right, and promotes the fighters? Remember I told you in the first video I did about Jonathan Majors, how he got into a domestic dispute with his own, I believe his wife, at a Waffle House or International House of Pancakes, IHOP, and he slapped her. That's what was reported. And then you had people at ESPN and all the other social media, outlets, all the media outlets that said, don't report this. Don't report it. Don't write about it. Leave it alone. And even Raccoon himself, Stephen A. Smith, didn't even want to talk about it, right? So here's a guy who was prominent in the media, a white guy, and nothing came of what he said or what he did what he did to be abusive towards his wife. Don't talk about it. So that shows you right there that there's a double standard. It does not change whether Jonathan Majors is guilty of all of this. If he's guilty of this, then he has to pay the price. But there's a double standard, because if you don't have the right paint job, you see, the right complexion for the protection, it's not going to go your way in American society. Let's go back to the bullet points again. Thank you for being here. Once again, clap to everybody. Bullet points. The video filed evidence Wednesday in New York appeals to the show Creed star accused of injuring. I read that part. Now, the third part of the bullet point. First responded body cam footage also shows officers, and this is the argument here. that an officer coached the girlfriend. You see over there, but let's get the more clearer picture. That an officer coached her to say the things that she said. And let's put that back on there. So here's the girlfriend. I've been showing that picture. And here's the other part. First responders' body cam footage also shows officers coaching the woman, Major's now ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, as she told them of the alleged abuse. What do we have to understand? It's very simple. Race always matters.
Tell the truth.
He's a black man with a white woman. I wouldn't be surprised if the officers involved in this were of the Caucasian persuasion. And when you see an interracial relationship, there's people out there who don't like it. And they see a black man with a white woman that they don't think he should be with. And if a white woman is striked, harmed by a black man, then there's a price that you must pay for harming a white woman. And we live in a society, and I'm going to be real with this, and I know the sisters out there are going to agree with me. We live in a society where there's very little value for black life. And there's very little value for when black women are abused, when black women go missing. We've seen this. I've talked about this already, that when black women go missing, when anything happens to black women or even black men, nobody cares. I wonder if his girlfriend would have been a black woman and this incident happened. I wonder how this whole thing would have turned out. Because there's a double standard. It's like you as a black man, big black man, because that's how they see us. You saw what happened in the Ralph Yard case. That Andrew Lester said that he was a big 6 foot black man. He's 5'8", right? So they always accentuate our size, over exaggerated. And in this case, black man with white woman, domestic dispute, white woman claims she was harmed by black man or black man harmed white woman. Uh-oh, we got to put this Negro in his place.
Tell the truth.
Put him in his place right now. You can't go around putting your hands on white women, nigga. Nigga. Now, let's get to this right now. Let me play a video before I get to the still pictures that you need to see to emphasize further what's happening. Let's go in here and see this video right here. Watch this.
Accuser's credibility into question, saying this is an attempt to destroy his reputation, all because he broke up with her. New documents obtained by NBC News give a glimpse into actor Jonathan Majors' defense amid his legal battle.
Good to see you again.
The Creed 3 star is charged with harassment and assault for an alleged domestic dispute with a 30-year-old woman in New York City in late March. In a letter to the court, his defense citing irrefutable evidence that Majors is innocent. Police say they responded to a 911 call. Upon arrival, they say the victim accused Majors of assault, and investigators verified the claims. But Majors' defense disputes those claims. Court documents filed by his defense say that night the woman assaulted Majors in a car and then went to a nightclub without him. Submitting screenshots they say were taken from surveillance cameras and show she was visibly uninjured. Hours later, Majors says he found her unconscious in his locked bedroom with minor injuries. NBC News is not naming the accuser or showing her face. This week, Variety exclusively reporting that more women are accusing Majors of abuse and that they are cooperating with the Manhattan DA's office. In response to the Variety article, Major's attorney maintains his innocence and says he will be fully exonerated. Deadline reports he's been dropped by his management and PR teams in multiple projects. NBC News has not been able to independently verify the Variety or the Deadline report.
All right, everybody.
The truth.
All right. Let me read a couple of messages in the chat. Let me see. We got my man Water Sniper has been rocking with me for a long time. He says, Information Man Show, look at how everyone including the black community, treats Will Smith for defending his black wife. I would say that Will Smith had every right to, I think Will Smith has the right to defend his wife, but let's not forget that Jada Pinkett Smith is not the most best example of a black woman that's doing things in the best interest of her black man, because she put the batteries in his back. She has been manipulative. Look at her history. Remember, this is a woman, Water Sniper. I got to keep it real. This is a woman that was sleeping around, allegedly, with her son's best friend. You know, the singer, the entertainer. So she has poor character. And then another thing about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith is that they need to be quiet and stop putting their business out on that damn red table. That's been one of their problems, putting their business out on their red table.
Tell the truth.
Narratives, what's going on here? I appreciate you, Water Sniper, for your perspective. Well, even if we weren't this, it would be something to criticize a brother somewhere along the line. Right, but this is the difference. This is serious because these allegations, if they're completely true, could destroy his career, meaning that's it for him. And another thing, when you look up the statute in New York, you can go to jail for a very long time in New York. If he's found guilty, you can go to jail in New York for 10, 20 years. In some cases, their laws in New York, look at the statutes in New York, very high penalty. The question I'm going to say again is, she said that in that text message, if the text messages are allegedly real, that she's going to do everything she can, yet she's never come out into the press conference. He hasn't done a press conference either because they're being very quiet. Now, he's not getting a court date until May the 8th. Why do they have to wait that long to figure out what the hell's going on with this situation? Now, the courts are probably backed up with lots of cases. We got the beautiful animated that's here. I hate New York, especially New York. Yeah, they have very stringent laws there when it comes to domestic dispute. I'm going to say it again. Domestic violence is nothing to play with. Domestic violence is wrong. No man or woman should be beating on one another, attacking one another, unless you are in a situation where your life is being put in jeopardy. Then you should defend yourself and then get away. Get the person off of you and then get away from them. Don't escalate it. Somewhere down the line between Jonathan Major and this woman, things got escalated to a point. Now, there was rumor that she was intoxicated and woke up and didn't remember this and that. I'm going to show you that may allegedly be very true, but there's also someone lying here, because there was talk about there being damage to her hands. The very hand that she's using to play with her phone, to get drinks. So something doesn't make sense here. Just Alicia said, yep, I agree. She's agreeing with it. We got my man Jeff Johnson 357 in the house saying Rockefeller laws, right, brother? Thank you for being here, waving person. Hey, what's going on? We got Brian Simpson in the house saying street media, it doesn't fit their narrative. Plus the manosphere is full. Interesting. We got the Bunker TV in the house. We got a Lady 747. I'm going to say this again, because I don't want anybody to look at my video and get anything wrong here. If this man did these things and it's proven completely out, he has to pay the price. However, the reason why I put on the thumbnail that it's over, because I think it's over for Jonathan Majors, no matter whether he's found innocent or guilty. I think if they were to find him innocent of this situation, I think he's still finished. I still think that people are going to always think that he did it. And if he did it, well, of course, he's finished altogether. I think his career has been damaged. People are stepping away from him. He lost his PR that he's been with for years. Only people that's rocking with him, and it's only reason why they're rocking with him is because economics, and that's Marvel. Don't get it twisted, folks. Marvel ain't sticking with him in the character that he plays in the MCU, Kang, because, they just love, because they just sticking with him because they sticking with the black man, that they support him. They're sticking with him right now because of economic reasons. They're going to wait and see what happens. If he's found innocent, then they're going to stick with him for the money's sake of the character that he plays in the MCU. That's Marvel Universe. Now, if he's found guilty, they'll pull away from him like he's got the plague. You best to believe that. But everyone else is getting away from him. He's lost movie opportunities and things of that nature. What's going on, a Lady 747? Amid new allegations, Jonathan Majors' attorney cites video taken just after the alleged attack. Attorneys for the actor Jonathan Major files evidence with the courts that appear to be contradictory his accusers of allegations of assault. Now, let's take a look at something. And I thank you all for being here. Let's take a look at something right now, folks. Here's the girlfriend, or the ex-girlfriend, because he's broken up with her. She claimed that there was damage done. There was some damage to her hands. Check this out. You've all seen this. This has been put out by TMZ. So I'm not breaking any new news here, but here's one of the photos. This is one of the still video photos where it has the circle, the red circle. Look over to your right side where you'll see a red circle pointing to her hands. She's still partying. So if Jonathan Majors, I'm just trying to paint the picture in a logical way. What's going on, Brother Keith? Empress Goddess, Bunker TV. Thank you for everybody. If you agree, I'm not trying to look, if you don't agree and you still think that he's guilty, I'm not here to convince anyone that Jonathan Majors is innocent or guilty. You've got to make your own opinion based on the logic and what's so far been presented to us. So far, his lawyers presented this. The video, they got the video footage, but they got the stills. Right here, she's partying. After this incident allegedly happened, she was partying throughout the night. Here she is getting a drink. If you were, let's use some logic here, folks. Let's really, in my monster voice,
Information is power.
Let's really, in my monster voice, let's get at it.
If she really, in the monster voice, if she really was choked out that night and abused physically by Jonathan Majors, where he grabbed her neck and he did some damage to her hand,
then we have to ask ourselves, that's the monster voice that I was just playing there. Those are sound effects. That's nothing wrong with my audio, sound effects. We have to ask ourselves, how was she able to still party the rest of the night, order drinks, put her hand out and grab drinks when she's supposed to have all these injuries, particularly to the hands? Let's go back over here and look at this still footage. TMZ, you got to give them a lot of kudos because they are the ones that presented these still pictures of the video. There she is again. She's supposed to be damaged, harmed, and she's playing around, I believe, looks like her phone or something of that nature. You see the circle around. This is just something
you have to really look at.
So there she is with the foam. Here's a closer view. Check this out. She's got the foam in her hand. Look at this. She's got one foam, which would be her foam maybe, in one hand. And then she has another foam in the hand where she's playing around with the foam, and she's got drinks in the club. Why would you be at the club after a man has choked you, according to the reports, abused you, did some harm to you, and then you later allegedly wrote a text message to him, which I personally believe those text messages are legitimate. Why would his lawyers put out fake text messages? Just my opinion. Where she's saying, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, we know. Well, then if that was true, if you believe the text messages that were put out by Jonathan Major's lawyers, how she said they just called again to check on me and I retracted how this was not an attack and they do not have my blessing on the charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about the strangulation and I said point blank, this did not occur. So if it did not occur and she was drinking that night, as you can see her clearly with drinks right here in the circle, then that could logically possibly explain why she did not file, why she is still partying, because there could be a possibility that she didn't incur any damage, like being choked out to the point where she had to go to the hospital. If she had to go to the hospital, as they claimed that was one of the things that occurred, then why was she continuing to party throughout the night on these still pictures? The still pictures are part of the actual video. Here she is again with the foam in hand, drinks over there. Here's a guy coming over talking with her friend, having a good time. Who does this? Who takes abuse from a man or a woman or anybody? There's damage that's reported to your body, to your person, but yet you're doing things with your hand that don't add up to what was put out there. So that looks like this could be possibly not true according to the still pictures of the actual video footage. She was having a good time that night. After Jonathan Major separated himself from her, she continued to party into the night. What are your thoughts on this situation, ladies and gentlemen? What are your thoughts before I play the TMZ audio? Angel Light Over Darkness 33, thank you for being here, my sister. Let's get some thoughts from people in the chat room. Vincent Jackson says, when are brothers going to learn about dealing with them Becky's? Man, that's a very good question. I got to keep it real. Very good question you ask. Very good question you ask. Very good question you bring up. It's the truth.
It's the truth.
Ruth.
It's the truth, Ruth.
You're absolutely right. It is the truth. And we're going to have to learn from the mistakes of other people.
Tell the truth.
And do not repeat these mistakes. But I think other than just race, I also think that when men and women get with people in relationships, you really need to, in my opinion, excuse me, having a little water there, you really need to, you got to validate these people that you get yourself involved with. I don't care if it's a celebrity or no celebrity. You just don't know what people are capable of until something bad happens. Now, once again, if Jonathan Majors did these things, he is guilty and he's going to have to pay the price, because I am not an advocate of men harming women The only time I think you should use physical harm unless it's a situation where your life is in jeopardy. And if you don't do something to get out of the situation, you're no longer going to be alive. And once you get that person away from you, then you need to keep it moving and get away. Another thing you're going to hear on the TMZ audio is that this is another thing, the driver. This explains, in my opinion, why it appears to look like she's having a good time, because these pictures have been been circulating all over line. She's appearing to have a good time off of these pictures that were copied off the actual video footage that will be, I guess, Exhibit A of evidence that will be brought into discovery or evidence, right, in a legal situation. But then you've got the eyewitness account. This is very explosive. You already are, the lawyers for Jonathan Major are already saying, and thank you for being here, D.D. Taylor. Speak with your girl, Marcella. Thank you for being here. I see you. I want to put you up. India, love is in the house. Thank you for being here. Saying Information Man in chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Make sure you check out Speaking with Your Girl, Marcella. Great channel. Great commentary over there. My man, Keith, who's been rocking with me. Good to see you in here. I know you are a brother that's always working hard out there, and I'm glad you were able to catch me live. We got last call coming in. We got last call, who I appreciate being over here. What's happening to the mic? Let me see. What's happened to that mic? Interesting. Let's go. Tina Turner would perform after. Okay. Now, you know what? This is a good point. This is a very good point. Because I'm not here to convince you that he's innocent or he's guilty. I want people to come away with their own thoughts, but I just want to put some things on the table here, right? That's a very good point. Tina Turner was abused by Ike for many years. And after being abused by Ike, she would go on stage and perform. That's a very good point. But this is the difference. And bear with me with the difference of what you're saying. The difference is that she was going on stage to perform because that was what? Their profession. And if when they have concerts, you have people who brought their tickets to see you perform. And you got thousands of millions of dollars on the line. You've got promoters that you got to pay. You got the venue that wants to get paid. So yes, Tina Turner was being beaten by Ike, and she would still go out, even though she went out and performed. The difference between her and the young lady is that the young lady had more of a choice whether to go out and party. Going out to party doesn't pay you money. Going out to party isn't your profession. Going out to party, you're not obligated to the audience of a club that has paid their ticket to see you perform. The difference with entertainers who will suck it up like she did, even though it was abuse as hell for her, she went out there because she still had a show to put on. I'm not saying it makes it right. I'm just saying that there's a different element to Tina Turner because they were signed up to a venue. You know, these venues can sue you for a lot of money if you don't perform when you're supposed to perform. And you also got to remember, we're talking about the 1960s and 50s where you still had a lot of stuff. You think it's worse for women today. It was worse then. There was less support then about these issues. So that's the difference. She wasn't performing that night. She went out to party of her own free will to go and do so. Tina Turner, very different situation. She's a performer. She's an artist. She's under contract. And a contract is a con game. Y'all get it. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
That's the only difference. But still, people can do things when they've been abused. But what I'm saying to you is this is the difference. The reason why I showed these pictures is because it was reported that there was damage to her hands. If there was damage to her hands, why is she playing around with a cell phone in one hand and a cell phone in the other hand? And why is she at a club drinking liquor? That's not the same as Tina Turner getting on a stage, performing, even though she was in an abusive relationship with Ike Turner. Not the same. This is a choice. Matter of fact, you can make an argument that Tina Turner got up on stage and performed because she probably was concerned that if she did not get on the stage and perform, that Ike Turner would abuse her again. Because if they did not perform, he would lose money. So she might have performed, even though she probably didn't want to, knowing that Ike could probably do some harm to her for deciding not to go on stage. Totally different. Nobody is holding, no one is making this woman go to a club, have a good time and party and play around with cell phones and reach over and grab a drink from one of the DJs. Here go, you got DJs up here. She's up there either handing him a drink or dabbing him with the hand right there. Once again, for y'all who didn't see these photos or have seen them, this is reinforcing what we know. This is from video that's been put into still footage. I just have to keep it real with you. I'm not saying that he's innocent or he's guilty. I'm just saying that something doesn't make sense. And now I can kind of understand why Jonathan Major's lawyers are saying that they've got evidence. On top of that, as I said before, the cab driver or Uber driver that night was a female who's prepared to testify that he didn't do anything wrong. In fact, Jonathan Major that night told the Uber driver he had to get out of the situation. He had to get out of there. Then there's other witnesses. This will all be in discovery. When this goes to court on May 8th, we're going to learn more things about this situation. And I appreciate you all that are here. No, it shouldn't be sensational. I'm not trying. It should not. Sister Angel, light over darkness. Right. There should not be any sensationalism. I'm not trying to sensationalize this. I'm just laying some things out here that could be
Tell the truth.
Areas that we should think about that are problematic about this whole situation. It's all wrong. Domestic violence is wrong. Women are abused in this country. I went over those statistics in the first video that I did about this issue. Women are heavily abused, and there are women who identify with their abuser. That's called Stockholm Syndrome. That does happen, yes. Now, let me go ahead and play this video for you, this audio, to lay some context.
Tell the truth.
To the program today, and I appreciate you all there. I want y'all to listen to this. This was on TMZ, and they brought up some issues that were factual, that had a lot of validity to it. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's play this right now. And please listen to this all the way through.
Right. He and his attorney filed documents informing the court of all the evidence they have gathered. Evidence, they say, includes video proof that the girlfriend was not harmed as she said she was, or at least not harmed by Jonathan.
So we should
he was arrested on, I believe, it was March 25th.
They were in some kind of a ride share, either an Uber
or a car that they had hired a driver for. But they're in a car, they get into an argument. Jonathan says that the driver will testify that there was an argument between Jonathan and his girlfriend at the time, but the driver will testify that she is the one who was striking him, and he has details about how she was hitting him. And in fact,
did you all hear that? The driver will be testifying in court on May 8th, because that's when they have their court date. I believe May 8th, as to the behavior of the girlfriend in the car. Let's continue.
Jonathan told the driver, pull over, I need to get away from this. And
Now,
he says,
we should say though, Charles, the reason he got arrested is she says that he attacked her in that ride share
and ended up breaking her finger and giving her a cut behind her ear. He says that he told the driver to pull over, the driver did that, and he got out of the car.
Once again, she claimed that he did bruising to her hands and behind the ear area. Yet, she went out to the club, playing around with cell phones, getting drinks. Here go a closer look. Got 2 cell phones, one in the palm of one hand, the other one she's playing around with it. If you've got these kind of injuries, why are you out partying the whole night? She ain't no damn Tina Turner. She wasn't at the club because she had an obligation to perform because there's an economic obligation. No. She went to a club as a free agent. What does that mean, a free agent? Freely willed individual that was deciding to go out and have a good time in a club environment. Then she said on the text messages again, I also said to tell the judge, check this out, there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. She hasn't given any press conference. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origins of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out, and your worry as my partner due to our communication prior out of care. She promised all will be relayed. She's admitting in the text message, if these are legitimate, but I think they are because the lawyers have presented this. I think they're legitimate, but they could be, it could go either way. This could be the cries of an abused woman, or this could be the cry of a woman who knows that she's messed up and now she's trying to clean it up on her end because she knows that Jonathan's in trouble. Or this could be some orchestration by Jonathan. Could it be? I don't know. But I do know that one thing was put out there is this area where she says she was collapsing and passing out because she was drinking throughout the night. And that was reported that there was a lot of drinking that was happening that night at the club. What do you do at a club? People drink. They get drunk. They get a buzz. They get high. Let's just keep it real.
Tell the truth.
So anything could be possible here. Let's continue.
What happened to the girlfriend after that? They say they have it all now on more than 5 hours of surveillance video that they have, he and his attorney have looked at. And it shows, and they, in fact, in their court filing, they included screen grabs from some of that surveillance video at a nightclub in New York City, where they said she went out with friends immediately after this incident and partied hard all night, doing shots, drinking champagne, and most importantly to the case, they say you see her right hand through all of the video, and at no point does...
You see that? She's at, if you look at this picture right here to the left, she's sitting at a bar. There's glasses right here. Her right hand, she's doing her thing with the right hand. Right there, right hand playing around with the buttons on the cell phone. Oh, yeah. On this picture right here, as I showed before, she's using the right hand to reach over to this guy who's a DJ. Now, what was she giving him? I don't know. Let's continue.
It seemed like she has a broken finger.
Or she's in pain.
Or she's in pain or any discomfort. They say that all this video shows that she was completely fine.
So it ends up where he says she ended up at his place in a closet
at about 3:30 in the morning.
And when he says he found her half naked in his closet, he says at this point she was passed out. When she woke up, she said she had taken a couple of sleeping pills. Apparently, he says that he called 911 because
now remember that was reported that he was the one, according to the lawyers, that Jonathan Major was the one, again, who was the one who called the police. It wasn't her that called the police, according to the reports. because she was collapsed. Even in those text messages, if those text messages are legitimate, she's even admitting that she was collapsed herself. You see. Now, I'm not saying again that this means that he's completely innocent, because we don't know. We weren't there to see exactly what was happening. However, hopefully the Uber driver, taxi driver, whatever you call them, and the other witnesses who saw her at the club, hopefully they can collaborate the stories. If not, and if it's proven that he did this, he has to pay the price. However, I'm going to say this again, as on my thumbnail, I wrote, it's over, because I'm sorry, even if he's found innocent, I still think that Jonathan Majors his career is going to be going on the downslide. I think that people in Hollywood are still not going to want to deal with him. Whenever black people get themselves in a situation in Hollywood, your career is over in terms of the opportunities that you get. And also for people out there that say, oh, this is a ritual, who in the hell logically would want to put themselves through a ritual where you get your career damaged, where nobody wants to? That's not how it works. The goal is to get jobs in Hollywood, to act. So people will do things to get more jobs. Going out and being abusive towards your girlfriend or any females out there doesn't help you. Another thing that they're doing right now is that there's other females that are coming out and saying, oh, he's done this to me. Remember, when he was in college, you had people in college who they haven't even shown their face. That hasn't even been vetted yet. But there's people that are saying that he was an abusive guy in college. So that's another thing he's got to deal with too. And the question is, will we know who these people are? What's their names? What do they look like? Will they be on television? Will they be on interviews? And will they show up to court and say, yes, Jonathan has done this to me? How much of what they're going to say to the DA plays a role in what's going to happen to Jonathan Major in this situation? Let's continue hearing this.
Which we knew that from before.
officers.
He had
Right.
said that he had called 911, but now we get the whole story behind what happened when he called.
And apparently the
According to him.
paramedics came, they spoke with her, but when the officers came, he says there's
Tell
body cam
the
footage
truth.
of the officer speaking with her about the night's events. And he says throughout this whole time she was saying, I don't know what happened, as if she had sort of passed out in that closet. But the officer, according to Jonathan, apparently sort of coached her into a domestic violence narrative.
According
where
to
he
Jonathan.
may have even grabbed his throat to indicate sort of what she might have wanted to say about what Jonathan
And
had
he
done.
says at that point she changed her story and said that he attacked her. So here is the baffling part of all of this. This has now been going on, as Charles said, for more than a month. He has lost a lot. He has lost business. He's lost part of his team. And obviously, you know, the public has heard about all of this, and, you know, people have reacted.
Let me stop it right there. Activate beats. Yeah. Man, John. Hey, Stephen Gilmore YouTube channel. Good to see you. 9 Canada. Thank you for being here. He said, you say this, let's try to bring out the best in one another. Yeah, we want to bring out the best in one another. But I'm just saying this is all. If he did these things, then he's going to pay the price. His career is over. But I'm going to be honest with you. I got to say this. If this comes out that the girlfriend exaggerated what took place, it doesn't matter for Jonathan Major. He's still finished. I believe his career will take a dip. Thus, where he was going to ascend to will probably be no more. That's just my opinion about it. How do you all feel in the chat room about that? Do you buy that? Do you think that that has validity to it? I'm going to play the rest of that audio in just a moment. Let's see. India says this. Why would his team, who knows him the most, part ways? That's a very good point. I'm glad you said that. That's problematic. That I did open up with that earlier in the program. Good point. I'm going to remind everybody the talented manager, Entertainment 360, have dropped Jonathan Majors. Several sources tell us that the recent move by Majors' longtime management comes 3 weeks after the magazine Dream star was arrested on domestic violence charges in New York. Now, people in Hollywood, and I think I was listening to what's that comedy? What's that show on YouTube where it's like they get into talking about these kind of issues, and you got a few comedians on there. And I think his brother Pierre was on there, and he said, it's on YouTube, Comedy Hype. Yeah, Comedy Hype. Let me put some respect on their name. And he said that when this happens, when you lose a PR agency as big as this one, and someone that's been with you all these years, that's actually a really bad sign. And that's why I'm saying, even if he's found innocent, it doesn't matter. Jonathan Majors' career, as we know it, is not going to be the same. We can look at tons of black people over the years that have been accused of things that they didn't do or did things that they were accused of, and they were finished either way. When you are a black person in America and in Hollywood, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're damned. So I don't think his career will be the same. Either way, obviously, if he did these things, he's finished. And if he's innocent, his career, you're just not going to see him getting these. I bet you're not going to see him getting these top flight roles. You'll see him doing small production. This is just my opinion. What's going on, Art New Style TV? Peace to you, brother, for coming over. Psychological Podcast is coming in the house and says this, his career is over. Yes, that's why I put on the thumbnail specifically, if you saw that, it's over. I think it's over because all these other movie deals that he had on the table all moved away from him. The only people that have not abandoned him yet, and that's a big yet, is Disney right now. The whole MCA, the MCU Marvel Studio thing. They have not yet, but it doesn't mean that they won't. So you got people already saying, oh, they haven't dropped him yet. They might drop him. They could drop him tomorrow. They could drop him this week. Terry, Notary Public, I agree with you, with your opinion. They see him as still an in. If he were a choir boy from here on out, it won't not matter. Yeah, a choir boy. Yeah. Even if he's found, I'm going to say, if he's found innocent, I'm sorry, he'll be back on the Chitlin circuit of acting. I'm being honest with y'all. We got Sister Kim. We got Sister MZ Kim, Bling Bar, and more. Ladies, if you like jewelry, you like beautiful necklaces and things and bracelets around your neck and arms, check out Miss MZ Kim Bling Bar and more. That's where you get your stuff from. And what she does it just like you see it on television, where she displays the pieces for you and you choose what you like and you order it from her, the whole 9 yard. Let's give her a clap. That's her channel. We've got Brother Speak in the house says this. This has shade of what happened to Mel Gibson and the director of the Nat Turner movie. Well, remember this. Brother Parker where is Parker? Parker had that situation when he made the Nat Turner movie. We haven't heard from Parker since. His career in Hollywood is over. As far as Mel Gibson's concerned, he's still making movies, y'all. Matter of fact, he's on a Netflix movie. You see, if you got the right complexion for the protection, you can rebuild yourself from this. Remember Imus? Imus was I'm gonna read something here from Brother Keith. Keith West said Jonathan Majors did mess up bringing around these Holly weirdos and their sneaky tricks. Black people, we need our own. I would agree with that. But remember Don Imus, who said that, what he said about those black women basketball players, and then he got kicked off of, I think it was CBS radio. He got kicked off his radio show, and guess what? After a couple of years passed, he was on XM. He was on XM radio. He got a radio gig again. Come on now. These white entertainers, they can recover from their mess ups. Mel Gibson, even though you don't see him in any major movies anymore, he's still making movies. He's still producing movies in Hollywood. Nobody is stopping him from making movies and producing movies in Hollywood. And he even got a damn recent Netflix movie that they put on Netflix. And remember, what was Mel Gibson doing? He was abusing his wife and telling her how you want a bunch of pack of, you remember he said you want a bunch of pack of, man, what a world we live in. He said, you want a bunch of pack of, you want a bunch of, remember that? He broke off the N-word. And just Mel Gibson not did it once, but Mel Gibson did it twice using the N-word. And when it came to his wife, he was concerned about her, talking about there's going to be a wild pack of nigga. Talking about there's going to be a wild pack of black men, a wild pack of niggas that are going to, do sexual. Remember, that's Mel Gibson. Well, Mel Gibson has not been canceled in Hollywood, y'all. Or Dana White of the UFC. But Jonathan Majors, whether he is innocent or not, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it for the cheap seats. I'm going to say it for the expensive seats. Here we go with the megaphone right now. Jonathan Majors' career, ladies and gentlemen, as I said on the thumbnail, is going to be over. Either way, finished. PR firms dropping you like that, a big one that he's a part of, and the fact that he's got other movie commercials and all sort of projects that have now said, no, we can't have you as a representative. Disney or Marvel Studios is the only one that's hanging in there. But guess what, folks? Don't be surprised if they drop him from the lineup either this week or next, depending on how this all plays out. Because they don't go to court until May 8th. No. Is it May? Is it June? Or is it May 8th? Yeah, May 8th. Let's double check that. Everybody do a check on that. I want to say he goes back to court. And let me take the megaphone off. I want to say that he goes back to court either May, is it May the 8th or is it in June? I think it's June. Yeah, he doesn't go to court until June. I think it's June, early June. I'm trying to see when he goes back to court. If anybody finds that, put that in the chat room. I want to say that it's not until June. So that what I'm basically saying is that anything, ladies and gentlemen, can happen
the truth
between now and if it's in June for him to go back to court in New York. And also remember, if he's found guilty of these charges, New York has some of the worst law, some of the worst penalty that you can get for doing these things. And I think you should get a stiff penalty for doing anything abusive towards women, anybody, if you're abusive towards people in this physical way. But I think Jonathan Majors is finished either way. I think some years are going to pass and we're going to sit back and we're going to say, wow, Jonathan Majors, man, what could have been? The brother was hot for about a year and then this happened. And now he's doing movies on Bounce TV. He's doing B-rolls. Let's see what Brother Speaks is saying right now. What's going on, hundreds? Brother Speaks podcast. I meant that Mel did Passion of the Christ, which painted Jesus in a bad light. Yeah, Mel Gibson was able to use the N-word, was abusive to his wife or girlfriend, talking about how you want a bunch of pack of N-words to, and he's still making movies. Hollywood is still bankrolling his movies. You don't see him on the camera as much, but he's producing a lot of movies that y'all don't even know about. Let's see right here. Dreyer, I hope the truth comes out in the court of law. If he's exonerated, he gets justice. Same for the alleged victim. Yeah. I think that if he's guilty, he pays the price for that. But this is the difference. I think if he's found innocent, you know how this works in the black community. We'll embrace a black person who we feel has been done wrong in the justice system. We'll embrace them. You know, he may not get the big Hollywood films anymore, but guess what? The black directors will embrace him and put him in some of those type. You know, you understand what I'm saying? The black community will embrace. Hell, we got black people. We'll even embrace the raccoons in our community if they show nutrition, if they ask for forgiveness. We've seen it 1,000 times over the years. A black person done wrong in our community. Where do they first go? They go to church and they ask for forgiveness and they ask to be born again. And then we take them in and say, we forgive you for all your bad transactions, even your raccoon ways. Come on now. That's one of our biggest strengths and one of our biggest weaknesses as a people, because people can do us wrong and come back to us by saying, I found God, thunder, lightning, and all the votes that go with it. And if we can quote a few Bible quotes, we'll forgive that person and take them into our community, even though they've been the biggest offender in our community, even though they've sold drugs to our perfect example. Free Ray Ricky Ross. People look at him like he's something to look up to. The man sold drugs in the black community of Los Angeles, destroyed a lot of black people. We've got black people that were hustlers and pimps, and now they become born again, and now they want to sell you real estate. Now they want to sell you Bitcoin. Now they want to get on YouTube and tell you, how the game is. And they've done all horrible things to our community, but we forgive them. I'm just saying, it's just, just a thought, folks. We got the queen here saying what's going on with Deborah. And I want to look at some more. We got Deborah Guns in the house, who was on the show last week. Great commentary that she brought up on the program. I appreciate her, and I got to give her a clap. Give you all a clap. Give you all a clap. We've got Brother Mike B in the house saying facts, and I appreciate you here as well. We got A B Tide. What's going on with the cat logo? Everybody's giving Deborah Guns a lot of respect. I like that. I like when people are showing that kind of love. Angelica's come in the house. with the handful earnings, earrings. Info man, handsome chat. Hey, thank you, my sister. Thank you to the chat. Everybody that's over here today, really appreciate it. Let me read what Hundreds is saying as we get ready to close out pretty soon here. They have a party for you when you come out of jail before they have a party for the right. Like, for example, this is not off subject. This is on subject. How many of you are aware? Put a 7 in the chat room. How many of you are aware of the 9-year-old? There's a 9-year-old black child who was on CNN talking to Don Lemonhead, and he's going to college. He's only 9 years old. He's already completed high school. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about, let's put the black child who does all the right things, put them on a high stick. But there's something about the Negro who's the drug dealer, the pimp, the hustler, the stick-up boy, the smash and grab kid, who lived the street life, the gang banger, who turns their life over to God or turns their life around, and then we celebrate them. Put them on a pedestal. That's the word I wanted to use. Put them on a pedestal, even though they did everything under God to destroy the community. You still got black people walking around that are addicted to drugs because of them and can't get off of them. But we give them a coming home party. And the black young lady and the black young man who does all the right things, follows what his grandparents tell him, follow what his mother say, his father say, kids that are a shining example of what we want from our kids. We'd say, hey, they achieved something great, and there's no fanfare for them. There's no talk about it. I find it interesting. I find that a damn shame.
Tell the truth.
Stephen Gilmore YouTube channel. Make sure y'all get over there and check out his channel. Check out his channel. Give him support. He's a good brother. Kendra G. Thank you, Kendra G. She puts a 7 in there. Thank you.
Tell the truth.
Let's continue with the audio portion of the program. Let's finish the rest of this audio that I played. Here we go.
I think in many ways making an assumption he did it.
Right.
He has always said, I have the evidence, but only yesterday was this released. And the question is, why? I have an opinion about this that I changed my opinion this morning because at first it just seemed bizarre to me.
It did seem strange. I mean, I get that to get the surveillance video, as they say, say they have 5 hours of video from this nightclub to get that, then to go through it. I get that that takes time. But the part I don't understand of the delay in telling the story is Jonathan presumably was there, not presumably, he says he was there came home at 11 a.m. That's when he found her in his apartment. He knew that whole side of the story. He knew that she had said she was passed out, according to him.
This is TMZ. TMZ.
She took sleeping pills. She threatened suicide. He knew all of that, and he knew this part about the police being there,
Queen.
And in their words, coaching her into saying that he had strangled her or attempted to strangle her.
But he never said any of this.
And never said any of that. That part he would have known, and I don't know why he wouldn't have said that.
And here's what I'm thinking, a couple of things. One is that he has lawyers, and a lot of lawyers will say, do not try a case publicly. Do not try a case publicly, because what he's dealing with right now is, he wants to make sure that he gets cleared criminally. And because he was arrested, remember. Right. So he wants to make sure.
He was charged.
And he was charged.
Yeah.
So a lot of lawyers, especially criminal defense lawyers, will say, do not bring this up publicly. This is going to compromise the case. I have heard this many, many times over the years. My personal opinion about this is that when a lawyer is hired, they're really hired for two purposes. One, you have to deal with the legal side, obviously, but there's a second component, and Derek, I'm interested in what you have to say about this, because the second component is, once that case is over, this person needs to get on with their life. And it's something that, and I'm not saying this lawyer, but something a lot of lawyers don't consider enough. that they have to make sure that the person is going to be okay when the case is over. And in this case, maybe it would have been a better idea to do this earlier.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think these things do take time, and they wanted to put together a very persuasive document, and that might have been getting those videos, getting the body cam, assessing all of it, putting together a very persuasive narrative for the judge to handle the criminal side. But I think you're right. By letting the time lapse, it allows people in the public to sort of draw different conclusions, and you've let time pass. It looks like maybe you are a little nervous about how this could look. It's a delicate balance, as I say, and I think the lawyers sort of thought about this and how to proceed best. And I do think.
All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody who came through today and supported the show.
Tell the truth.
What can I say? It doesn't look good. But you heard there, he's got the video evidence. And if I think the video evidence and if the witnesses collaborate Jonathan Major's story, then he could find himself not going to jail for this because they've already charged him. But he could find himself being at least seen as innocent. It doesn't mean that he'll be seen as innocent in the court of public opinion. And it damn sure doesn't mean he'll be seen as innocent in the eyes of Hollywood anymore, especially being black, if he is found innocent. Now, if he is found guilty, then he's got no one to blame for him but himself, and therefore he'll pay the price. This is the danger zone of the whole thing. There are allegedly other women or other victims or people who are cooperating, well, shit, maybe, you never know. They're cooperating with the DA in New York to say, hey, I've also been abused by this man, Jonathan Majors. But the question you have to ask is, we have not heard anything from the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend that is, and we have not heard anything about her having lawyers or what their perspective is on this. We really don't know what's going on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I thank you all for watching today and being a part of the Information Man experience today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you, let me say it again, thank you for watching. Like and comment, give honest comments on this, and subscribe. Share this video on your social media. Share this video on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere you can. If you're a content creator, definitely share the video in your community tab. If you have friends, family, people that you know that like to, let them know about the program. That would definitely be appreciated, because over here we try to get at the truth. We try to examine what's happening. We try to, give a perspective that you're not going to get from the mainstream media always. And however, it is going to look bad on Jonathan Majors if his past creeps up to hurt him and hunt him in his presence. There's already been some talk about whether he's in a real fight, not that movie fiction that we just watched, but the real fight, because he's going to have people who are going to go to the courts, go to the DA and say, oh, he did this to me when I was in college, when we went to school together. And let's be honest, you're going to have some of these people who might have a vendetta against this brother because they didn't like him when he was in school, because they thought he was an uppity Negro. You know what I mean when I say that. And so they say, hey, this guy's become famous. He's making more money than me. Here's our chance to bring him down. So don't underestimate the element of haters versus the element of people that may be telling the truth about his character in the past. So his character in the past could be in question, or these could be haters. You have to look at both sides of the equation here. Could it be haters, or could it be legitimate people who he wronged in some way or another? I'm not here to convince you either way. I'm here to present the position, the argument, and you, as those watching today, have to come up with your own conclusion as to what you believe. So put those thoughts honestly in the comment section of this live stream, this video, and keep this in mind. I want to say that they don't go to court until June the 8th, June, or maybe I'm right that it's May the 8th. I think it's June. I think I am right about it being June. So we got a whole month in May, and this is what's going to happen. He's not getting any acting jobs. I bet you any kind of money. Nobody's going to be promoting him. He's not going to be getting any acting gigs for quite some time until he goes to court and can prove that he's innocent or he's found guilty. And I'm going to say it again. Even if Jonathan Majors is seen as an innocent man, it's still over for him in terms of where the trajectory of his career may have gone. It's still over for him. There are other people, other black men who are no longer doing major Hollywood pictures anymore because of their issues that they were having in Hollywood. You know, we live in a society where we build you up,
tell the truth,
to only break you down. And you can be built up and you can also break yourself down by doing things that are out of character, out of principle, and putting yourself in a situation where your career is in jeopardy and your reputation is in jeopardy. Jonathan Majors may have or may have not done this to himself, but we'll find out. I want to thank you for being here tonight with a clap. Because I cannot do this without your support. As I said before, his promoters, people who promote him as an actor in Hollywood, they have dropped him. And for them, this was reported on Deadline Hollywood. This is an actual Twitter clip. And whenever you have a major PR firm drop you like this, or people that are managing your career, it's a bad sign, according to most folks in Hollywood. It's a bad sign. Beware of who you get involved with, because you may find yourself with handcuffs on. Beware, men, to the men out there. If you're with a woman and that woman is doing something to the point that's making you want to do harm to them, if you're in an argument and you want to do, and that woman's talking to you a certain way, get the hell out of there. Leave. Do not fight the woman. Do not do it. It is not worth not effing it. If you're in a difference of opinion with a woman that you're involved with, as a man, you must control your emotions. You must think logically. You must not react. You must be a responder and not a reactor. If the woman is saying things that you don't like, same thing for women. If you're dealing with a man who's saying things disrespectful to you and you're not liking him no more, then it's time to cut off the relationship. It's time to get away, move away from the person, leave them, go. Don't continue, because bad things happen when you continue to argue with people. It only escalates. The goal is to de-escalate before it gets to the escalating stage where things become into the what? Crisis phase. And when you're in a crisis phase, it's too late. What happened between them is that they were at the bottom stage, then it escalated up and went into crisis phase where something happened. Somebody's telling the truth and somebody's lying. It's something to think about. It's something to ponder. Jonathan Majors' career, I don't think will ever be the same when it all comes out in the wash.
The truth.
Either way. That's just my opinion about it. I want to thank Sister Kimberly, who came in saying good night to everyone. I want to thank another CG saying she looks 12 in that picture. I want to say to the Queen, thank you for being here. And my man Ghost says it's a preschool case. Yeah, it probably is. Hey, it probably is an easy case. Ghost, I'm not saying that it's a difficult case or not. You're probably right, brother. It's probably elementary tricks for kids. I hear what you're saying. But the thing is, we're going to find out when they go to court if the video, Ghost, is legitimate, because he's already put out still clips of it, as you already know this. If the video is legitimate and the witnesses collaborate Jonathan Majors' position, then he will be seen as innocent. I'm simply saying, my brother, you've been in entertainment yourself. You know how this works, especially as a black man. Even if he is seen as innocent, I think his career is still going to be hurt. I still think it's going to be over. When I say over, I don't see him getting the big Hollywood, jobs, the big Hollywood productions, the big, blockbuster roles. Because he doesn't have the complexion for the protection. You know what I mean, Ghost? But let me see who else is here before I get ready to go. The pledge, just see we need the sister to quit the bashing too. That's why we run to Becky. Man, I'm not running to no Beckys at all, because the Beckys have a history of causing us to be hung from trees like strange fruit, as Billie Holiday sung about. Caucasian women in general, if you look at their history, more black men have been put behind bars, lied upon, and have been crucified in this country at the hands of a Becky's lie and a Karen's lie. You've got Karens out here that be messing with black folks, minding their own business, causing us problems, sir. So no. And this is another thing we got to stop doing. Stop generalizing all black women, all black people. Those are the black women that you don't like, then you don't talk to them, you don't date them. But there's certainly black women and black men out here who are on their square. See, the problem with y'all, let me just keep it real with you. The problem with us on YouTube is that we go to these YouTube channels and we listen to echo chambers. And throughout all YouTube, you have Negroes on YouTube who talk about these battle of the sexes 24 hours a day. I don't know anybody, all the brothers that I know personally, who spend all their time online crying and whining about these issues. There's two things that happen. When you meet the wrong person in your life, you also have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what is it about me that I attract these type of people that I don't want in my life? As well as, what is it about them? It's time for some self-examination. Because if white women were so much better than black women, why is it that white men created MGTOW called Men Going Their Own Way? Why did white men, not black men, it was white men who created the manosphere first? There's been some rumors about a black man creating Men Going Their Own Way, but it was white men who created a manosphere. But this is the difference that I notice about the white manosphere and what we have, what we call the MGTOW, is that they'll talk about women in a general manner, but you never hear them come out and specifically talk about white women and then throw white women under the bus. even though white women are the women that they're running away from. How often do you see the white manosphere guys talking about white women all day? They just talk about women in general. But we spend all our time singly focusing on black women. You'll never see, just like Pearly Things, she's got podcasts where black people are talking about low-hanging fruit topics. But you'll never see a show where a black woman is sitting back while white people come on the show and talk about their dysfunctional relationships and let a black man or black woman examine it and get rich off of it. Why is that? I'm talking to all you raccoons out there. You know who you are.
I don't know what's wrong with us. Bullshit. I really don't.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
I really don't.
It's crazy, folks. We can sometimes be our own worst enemies. And, you know, Ghost, if I was having a pound a day, I would ask you to come up. Ghost, you've been around for a minute now, brother. You've got wisdom. I respect you. But can you agree or disagree with me that black people, especially in this generation, we really are our worst enemies? We are hurting our own self. We are holding our own selves back. The Ghost OG J Speed says you're correct. That's why I call it the manosphere. Manosphere. I don't know. All I know is I've been a part of a brotherhood that's been around for over 115 years. And we actually do the work in the community. We actually have brothers that are professionals, doctors, lawyers, you name it, architects, lawyers, teachers, educators. And we have this mantra where we say, stop, where we don't whine. We simply say, you take the damn ball and you run with it and you get something done. And when brothers don't get things done, we hold them accountable. This shit on YouTube is just Negroes getting on panels, doing a lot of talking, hiding behind your avatars. Never show yourself. Maybe because if you were to show yourself, it would really make people laugh and say, why am I debating with this ugly such and such? I'm just saying.
Tell the truth.
So we're going to see how this whole thing plays out, ladies and gentlemen, with Jonathan Majors. This ain't got nothing to do with black women. This is a white woman that has got him in this pickle. And it's also got to do with Jonathan Majors making a bad decision if he indeed abused this woman. So it has to do with accountability of his behavior as well as her behavior. If he proves it out as that he was innocent, then we say, boom, the man is innocent. He was wronged. The question is, will all of those opportunities that he just lost, will it all come back to him? I'm telling you that he's finished. Hollywood don't put a lot of investment into black entertainers and black actors and actresses. They really don't. Think about it. Look at what happened to my girl who thought she was going to win the Oscar. who played in What's Love Got to Do with It? Angela Bassett. Look what happened to her. She won the Oscar and really has not gotten all the roles that she should have been rewarded. They only want black people in Hollywood to play pimps, hustlers, get on the camera and take your clothes off and have animalistic sex. Take the best black actor that we got out there, actor in Hollywood, period, beyond his race, and Denzel Washington, and give him an Oscar for playing a corrupt cop. But then when he plays Malcolm X and plays more dignified roles, he can't get a nomination. But you give him a nomination for Best Supporting Actor in Glory for playing an ex-slave turned military Buffalo soldier getting whipped on his back with tears coming down. And then you give him an Oscar for playing a corrupt police officer. Let me get on out of here. Nate Parker. You see, you don't hear from Nate Parker anymore. He's finished. Plus, they didn't want him making that Nat Turner movie as well. He's finished. Even if he was innocent of all the things he was being accused of, you don't see Nate Parker anymore. Nobody's checking for him in Hollywood. Weird. What's going on, Great Pill Podcast? Let me get on out of here. There was a lot of people that were over here. It's about time for me to clear it out now. We got 98 people watching. We had 30 people that was in here earlier. And I'm about to call it all. I'm about to shut it all down now. There's a lot going on today on Sunday. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people streaming all over YouTube, and you all want to get to your favorite YouTube personalities. So with that said, everybody, I want to thank you again. Everyone in the chat room, Brother Keith, I see you. Let me put you back up here one more time, Keith, because when I put you up before, it was kind of fadey looking. And here he is. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. So
everybody, let's get on out of here. Y'all take care. I'll be back with more presentation. I'll probably, again, go live during the week. If there's a breaking story, something explosive comes out of the wash, you'll see me come right back on and talk about that very soon. So, man, it's been great today. So let's get on out of here. Make it do what we can do. Let me get a bit of water. Woo. And y'all take care. Peace.
I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign.
Please make sure to subscribe.
I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
Boom.
When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you went down the ride, you weren't down the ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I, my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on B, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like, whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right. Now I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my B-side.
The truth.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. Peace.